So, Paul, EFL-U has been a partner with us for the last 3 years for a conference like this, and I just wanted to understand from you, why are you supporting a conference like this, and why is EFL-U come forward as a strong propagator of a conference like this?
Two reasons actually. Uh, I need to use the term institutional culture. Now, that's a term that was coined by a very senior academic, British academic John Swales, who now works in the United States of America. Now, he believed that an organization, an institution, should eventually be identified with a core activity. And I'd like to believe that from the time we were CIE, then on to the days when we were CIEFL, and now when we are EFL-U, we have consistently been identified with teacher education. And this is a conference for teacher educators. So it's entirely appropriate that we should be involved in it. A second reason is that from 1958 and even earlier, there's been a very close contact between the English teaching fraternity in India and the British Council. We came into being in 1958, but there are records of how the British Council actually supplied faculty to the State Institute of English, the Institute of English in Allahabad, sorry, which was set up in 1954. And when we appeared in 1958, the first set of external faculty were all British faculty and brought to us by the British Council. So it's an amazing thought that our relationship goes way back into the 50s, and we're working so well together, so strongly entrenched in this partnership now. And I'm hoping that this will be further strengthened with more conferences and more academic collaboration between the two organizations.
Paul, this is our third conference, the Teacher Educator Conference that we've been, and you've been with us from the start, from the time from its inception. What have you seen as some of the major achievements and that we've been able to get over the last 3 years, and what are some of the challenges that you think we need to address to make this conference more meaningful, as well as reach the desired impact that we had?
Just in terms of numbers, I'm just being, I'm doing a bit of guesswork, a little bit of approximation. We had 600 odd delegates the first year, 1,000 plus delegates last year, and over 1,300 delegates this year. So obviously, there's been an increasing interest, not just in the conference, but in the concept of a conference about teacher education. But the figures also tell you that depending on the theme that you set up for yourself, you're likely to get many more interested professionals in attending the conference. So this year, since we're talking about English in diverse environments, in diverse circumstances, I think we were able to get a whole lot of newer delegates to come to the conference, because now suddenly this year we began to highlight, we have highlighted two very important sectors, as it were, in the community. One is the section we often refer to as the physically and visually challenged, people with disabilities. So their concerns and special needs and special education has been a core theme of this particular conference. Secondly, the attention we have paid in this conference to the concerns of the marginalized sections of society, like the Dalit communities, like women themselves, and made a case for getting English to reach those sections, those deprived sections of the Indian communities, the Indian society, that has been denied access not just to English, but later to teacher education in the context of English. So it's been an amazing journey, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of how we've been able to build on our experiences consistently over the 3 years. Challenge. Now, I think the challenge is obviously one of sustainability. Last year, we thought when we had a full house that we wouldn't really be able to top it anymore. Now, we've had to rethink that point of view. I'm not saying we would like 1300 to become 1500 or 2000. I'm only saying the choice of the conference theme is going to be crucial. And secondly, our ability to publicize the conference is going to be equally a challenge. Now, maybe, just maybe, there are sections of the Indian English professional community, the fraternity out there, that hasn't got to know about these conferences. I think our challenge next year will be to get them involved in TEC4. I continue to use TEC1 to TEC4, and that I think is the biggest challenge. In the same light, I'd like to believe that there are sponsors out there who would also like to be involved in this extremely socially productive activity we have taken on. So I'm hoping that other publishers, other service providers will now want to be associated with this idea of having an annual conference for teacher educators. And I'm also hoping that through the combined efforts of the English and Foreign Languages University and the British Council, we'll actually be able to reach out to departments of education and colleges of education around the country. Now, we haven't quite been able to do that. I think we all know that every university in the country has a department of education, and there are thousands of teacher education colleges. I'd like to have them participate in much greater numbers in the conference next year. So that's going to be a challenge, publicizing ourselves well enough and well in time.
Thank you, Paul. The other question on something that you've already spoken about is in this theme of English language teaching in diverse contexts. What do you think from you being part of this conference now, and you've been here for the last 3 days? What do you think is the type of impact that we were hoping to achieve, and do you think we've reached that sort of impact in this through the conference?
Yes, I think that's a very confident yes, if I might add. I think we've been able to do justice to our core theme and the sub-themes of the conference. And I think the evidence for this will emerge in two ways. One, all the delegates present here and everybody who watched us on the website will now spread the word. I'm pretty confident about that. And two, since we are planning to publish the seminal papers, the seminal presentations of this conference in time for release and launch for the next conference, that will be an additional incentive for greater and a deeper sense of participation in TEC4.
Any core messages you would want to give the English language fraternity out there, and maybe potential sponsors, as being as a person who's been part of this for the last 3 years and who sees this as the future of reaching out to so many people and to address core issues and core needs of people today. Any core messages that you'd like to give?
As far as teachers of English are concerned and teacher educators, there are thousands of them out there in the land. And a lot of them, I think, live and work in isolation, professional isolation, which eventually, I think, begins to affect their work in the classroom. One important message I would therefore like to send out to every single colleague of mine in the English fraternity, teaching fraternity, is that they should make a conscious effort to attend conferences of this kind and begin to network with other professionals who have been lucky enough to have attended conferences of this kind, so that not only does the sense of isolation disappear rapidly, but they begin to understand much more about how professional development itself can happen for themselves. And I'd like to say the same thing about sponsors. I'm sure there are lots of people out there, organizationally speaking, not necessarily publishers only, but organizations that are into community outreach programs, particularly for educational reasons. They, I think, should now begin to participate in this elaborate venture that we have put in place now. So, like the Aziz Premji Foundation, the Tata Foundation, both of which have prominently participated in this particular TEC13, I'm hoping that a whole lot of other NGOs will also now begin to participate in this. And of course, we want lots more of the commercial organizations to back us with not just contributions and sponsorship in terms of money, but actual academic participation, so that their own work expands and reaches sections of society which have been marginalized as far as English is concerned.
Thank you so much, Paul, for your time.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
Lovely.
you.